Hey guys, can everybody see us? Yeah, there's nobody in here.
Are you in the premiere or are you in the live? Because I made a mistake on that myself.
I'm in the live.
Do you see
Jefferson,
us?
it's because Jefferson Martial Arts commented at 6:40, said looking forward to it. Somebody's in here.
How many people's in the chat, honey? 14 people's already in the chat.
It says there's only one here. Ask her if she can go over to that other one and tell them that we're over here. Because there should be two links then, I guess. I don't know what's going on.
Can you go into the one with the telephone poles and tell them we're in the other video?
I wonder what's going on.
Go back to the videos on Papa's videos. There's one that's got like telephone poles in a storm that was the premiere. Tell them we're in the live, that they'll have to back out and go to the live. The live feed's got him.
Well, I got
at his
two in here
desk.
now.
I gotta go to Papa's channel and click to
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Because when I set up on YouTube, I made the advertisement or whatever for this one. I noticed there was still one up there for the 6th. So I don't know. Well,
she's got us now.
All right. There's 4 in here. Sorry about that. Is there another? I'm talking to them. Is there another like premiere set up right now or something? Something's going on here. We're trying to figure it out. Yeah, because everybody's saying, "Hey, y'all," again. Like man, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but let's see who's in here. Jefferson Martial Arts, Christ is the Answer, Kimberly's Farm Life, Amy Rowe, Mad Shad, Jefferson Martial Arts. Oh, I already said that. Ashley Shadow, Hutch is in here. Be Charming, Penny D, Mrs. Prepping Plumber, Bigfoot Prepper, Papa Elusive Prepper. Hello, everybody. Glad you could join us tonight. Meet the Prepping Plumber.
Hey, everybody.
If you guys haven't checked out his channel yet, you need to go check him out. He's got really good content. Been doing this for a while, and he knows the stuff. So I'll give it to him for a few minutes. Just go ahead and tell him about yourself and your channel and do your thing.
Hey, everybody. I've been doing this a long time. I remember the whole Y2K ammo scare. I went through pretty much all the phases. I mean, people start prepping, they go through, buying extra at the grocery store first, and then this, and then, on and on, to where I wouldn't say I'm setting great, but I'm setting okay. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, there ain't much between me and what my brother does that we hadn't dabbled in at some point.
Right. And I've said in a couple of my videos, I've listed the people that you definitely want in your mag. And a lot of people don't think about a plumber because they think a lot of things people take for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like just running there and use the toilet. Like, well, you're still going to have water pipes freezing up. You're still going to have the lack of water. I mean, stuff's still going to break and go south.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sitting back thinking I might need to change my name because, Papa's got the pack, Grim's got the gremlins, Prepper Nation's got the nation. What am I going to call my people? Turds? Ain't
Turds.
going to work.
Prepping plumbers poops. I don't know. I mean, I think turds would be cool.
It'd be great merch.
Oh, it would be good merch, man. All right. So, was there an event in your life that made you decide to start prepping? I mean, like Y2K, or was it more just like a hobby to start out? Just how'd you get your start?
I guess it'd be more about the way I was raised. Spent a lot of time with my grandparents. Grandparents were Depression era people. Grandpa done a lot of farming, had a bunch of family land. I mean, we grew up as kids picking groceries. I mean, it was our normal way of life. I watched a lot of Prepper Nation, and he collects all the vintage video games and this, that, and the other. I had a regular Nintendo, I'm pretty sure, but we never played it. I mean, we were in the woods. I mean, once we got chores done, we were, in the woods, riding dirt bikes, riding four wheelers. I mean, from April till October, all the boys in the neighborhood camped out every weekend. Unless they were calling for torrential downpours, we were in the woods. So the whole bushcrafting skill kind of came easy. I guess what would really push me more to prepping and food storage and everything was my work habits. When I first got into pipe welding and was running outages in powerhouses, chemical plants, stuff like this. Well, if you're an outage worker, you might work 3 months in the spring, 3 months in the fall, or you might catch a small outage here and there. But a lot of times it wasn't worth the hassle to go like try to get unemployment or anything else. I mean, because you just made killer money for 3 months. So you just got to be smart with it. I mean, it's probably been 15 years since I've had less than a month of groceries in my cabinets, not counting prep and storage, not counting nothing else, just normal groceries. I mean, and all the new preppers, it gets easier at time. I mean, you give it time, everything ends up getting a whole lot easier.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely the startup's scary. Because you're like, I just spent how much money on food and can't eat it right now?
Yeah, and then, by the time you're said and done with, when you walk into a grocery store 3 years down the road, you don't even walk and look at like the 4-pound bags of sugar. I mean, right. They might as well be empty on the shelf. You go straight for 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and it just ends up adding up. The primary skill is learning how to store it without it going bad.
Yeah, because that's how we start. I mean, we've always, kind of, like I said the other night, my wife's a couponer. And every tax season, when we got a tax refund, we'd buy a whole year's worth of toilet paper, laundry soap, shampoo, razors, just in case. So I guess, we've kind of been prepping for 15 years or so, but not serious, like, prepping until this whole COVID thing and all of that. And, we already had our stuff. So we was like, no, we ain't going to get caught up like that. So that's when we decided to start stockpiling.
So the big thing is, I mean, if you were couponing, which I used to do couponing, back 15 years ago, I had a whole basement full of stuff. And when my job moved and I moved to South Carolina for a while, it was easier for me to donate it all to the Christian ministries than it would be for me to move it. I mean, they hauled out truckload after truckload from the basement. But what I've noticed here lately, I mean, like, you don't get Sunday newspapers anymore. You don't get the flyers hardly ever.
No.
They're pushing hard back against losing money on the couponing because people, I mean, I'd go and get 15 packs of toothpaste and spend $1.16. I mean, it was great.
Absolutely. This you already kind of you said you'd be okay, but how does your prepping timeline look right now? Like if the shit was to hit the fan like tomorrow, tonight, how long you think you'd be good for? I use the term good lightly because
That primarily depends on how long it took me to get shot. I mean, as far as how long I'm good for,
just like your
um,
food and water,
basic needs, water indefinitely, power generation, I'm good. Uh, Food wise, unless you hit a major drought, I mean, just off food storage, a few years.
And anything that I ask, if you don't want to answer or feel comfortable answering, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, it's totally up to you.
I'm fine with it. But once I've seen a lot of preppers make the misconception, and they'll get into, oh, well, I only have to store enough food till growing season hits.
No.
If you are not like Sean M, you can't bank on growing. I'm sorry. I've had years where every tomato plant died. All my squash got eat up by stuff. I mean, unless you're efficient at it, you need to give that at least 2, maybe 3 seasons.
Right.
Before you can start claiming that as an indefinite food source.
And even then, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I've had storms come through. I mean, here in the South, we have bad thunderstorms, and summertime, 2 or 3 a week. And I mean, I've had it come in and just completely trash a garden. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it could, especially the way the weather is now. I mean, it's snowing in places it's never snowed before.
Well, here I said something about it. What day was it snowed here?
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah, yesterday. We woke up, there's inch and a half of snow on the ground. By lunchtime, it's 50-some degrees outside.
Yeah.
Bipolar North Carolina weather.
I mean,
you can't. It's the same way.
Yeah, you can't.
4 seasons in one day.
Yep.
So when it comes to prepping, survival, what would you consider your worst or your best skill and your worst?
My best skill is probably thought process and actual skills. You need to have people that know how to rebuild well pumps, that know how to make water rams. I think sanitary is going to be a huge issue under any circumstance of SHTF. People don't realize that being a plumber, you end up seeing the devastation of unsanitary conditions. Yeah. People get sick, people get infections, I mean, whole households. Well, look what happened to Flint, Michigan. You got a whole generation of people that are sick, that have handicapped kids and everything because the water system got polluted.
Right.
As far as my worst skill, I would definitely need to probably improve on trapping. We have a lot of small game here, but I don't really keep the setups that you really need. I mean, you need 15, 20 rabbit boxes, and I don't. I've got a few, but I don't have that many. So
I've never trapped a day in my life. I've never done it, and that's one thing. I mean, I don't even know how to begin. I mean, I know there's, I've got a book here or something that has trapping. It's like a real thick book, but That's something. I mean, up until now, I'd never thought about really, having to depend on that, But then
Yeah,
when stuff starts going down and getting real, it gets your mind working. It's like, man, you need to learn some stuff.
yeah. I mean, Corporal's Corner and Dave Canterbury, they've got a bunch of good videos on trapping skills. There's a couple other good channels. We don't have, like I said, well, small game here is pretty prevalent. Deer and stuff, turkeys is real prevalent.
Oh yeah.
So,
do you hunt? Like, I'm pretty sure you said.
yeah, we hunt, fish. I can personally vouch. I really don't think my brothers had to buy meat unless it's just for fun at a cookout or something in a couple of years.
That's good. I got one doe this season. That was all I got. I didn't have time to go out anymore.
Yeah.
It happens. When it comes to like Mrs. Prepping Plumber, and do you guys all have like your own individual roles you play in the prepping? Like, or is she in, like, are you guys like a team on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. When we first got together, I kept all the food and stuff in the house and everything, but after dating a couple weeks, I mean, she used to be EMT. She was in law enforcement, and now she's a dining service director for a nursing home. So, kind of inside the loop, because when she starts seeing stuff go up on the U.S. food truck, in a month it'll be going up in the grocery stores. So then I got a month leeway of what needs to be prepped, But yeah, I mean, she had totes and totes of medical gear that she had kept, that she kept stock up. I mean, it was like everything works out perfect. I mean, I don't, she'll go through and make lists, and we'll go get, $400 or $500 worth at Sam's Club, and I mean, it's normal life to us. We don't like to be surprised.
Exactly. And it makes it so much easier when both spouse are on board, reading each other like that. That's the way we are here. She'll be like, you think we ought to go get some preps? I'm like, well, you keep track of the money. If we got the extra money, yeah, absolutely. Let's go buy some,
Yep.
What do you think about the whole, which, I mean, our intentions are we're staying put as absolutely long as we can. But I know a lot of people have been talking about the anti-bug out movement, like where people just, where do you stand on that? Like, are you just going to, stay at your home and give it your all till they just take you, or?
Well, that's iffy. Okay. In my situation here, we live right beside of mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law. So grandmother-in-law cannot go anywhere.
Right.
At that rate, it's a stand your ground. Everybody's prepped up. Everybody's stationary. If something were to happen, and say that place be compromised, I have another place that way, my best friend, which is a very, very skilled prepper. And then I have another place back through the woods, which is also in-laws. So where we're sitting at, I mean, we really have a double flank position, because if people get here and they hear gunshots, I got people coming from that direction and that direction to here.
Right.
Worst case scenario, everything goes south. Me and the kids and her have to bolt. I have another place. I actually made a video of it. It's my parents' place, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere. And all the land around it's family land. So if people are there, that's not good and healthy for them.
Right.
And then my best friend down here has a backup position in southern West Virginia. So it's one of them things where you hope for the best, but I always have backups upon backups.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you have to. You have to have backups for backups. What is your, like, if you, seen that it was time to hit the road, what is your trigger for that? I mean, what would have to be going on right then for you to be like, all right, we're done and we can't do this no more?
That would have to be a decent sized force of marauders. Like I said, I mean, you're looking at, well, probably 20 people within a mile. Uh, it'd have to be really bad. I mean,
Right.
but yeah, yeah.
It sounds like you're pretty secure where you're at. I mean, you're surrounded on all sides and
The the area that I'm in, I think the actual city limits has 3,000 people. We're outside of the city limits. The whole zip code has less than 8,000 people.
Wow.
So we are I mean, it's literally the small town, like downtown is 2.5 blocks of Main Street. That's it.
That's about how it is where we're at. We got a little mom and pop's gas station, a little restaurant, and we actually got a Dollar General about a year ago. Those things are popping up everywhere.
Dollar General actually outsold Walmart items per customer in the South, because they're just easy. You just run in, grab 2 or 3 things, and run out the door, and you're golden.
And for the most part, they're cheaper. And
yep,
they don't hound you about masks and all that stuff either.
No, they don't.
And you can get a lot of good preps at Dollar General.
Yeah, that's one place. Another good place is find your restaurant supplies. If you are going into a big city, which for like here would be Charlotte or Asheville, North Carolina, there's restaurant supplies. You can go in there and buy 50-pound bags of beans, 50-pound bags of rice. I mean, they'll sell it to you by the pallets if they have it.
Right.
It's a very, very good way to build up like your staples, salt, sugar, flour, beans, rice, pasta, stuff like that.
Right.
I still need all the Dollar Tree stuff up there.
Oh yeah. Oh, we've got a lot of preps from Dollar Tree. Absolutely. I mean, especially when it comes to like your alcohol, peroxide,
Yep.
all your aspirin, Advil, stuff like that. You can't beat it. That's where a majority. I mean, of course, you can't get all your medical stuff there, but you can get a lot.
Oh yeah.
And they got milk in the cartons that you don't have to refrigerate now. And I mean, they got a lot of good, useful stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just looking over here real quick. Give me just a second. Okay. So you've heard everybody here lately, like every channel, talking about the line in the sand. You know what I mean? What's yours? Like where you've absolutely had enough. We're done. It's time for somebody to do something.
That's, I mean, I really think we need to be doing stuff now. I mean, like I put out a video this morning about, how your kids can combat the whole racial wedge the media's pushing. There's a whole lot of things that people could be doing now to slow down the process.
Right.
I don't ever advocate starting a fight. I mean, I
Right.
just don't. It's something that I don't. But when people start having major issues and jeopardizing people's security, you don't take that. I mean, you literally do not take that lightly. And I mean, if you're confronted with deadly force, you use deadly force to solve it.
Yeah. I mean, there's you're not going to bring a knife to a gunfight. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
let's see what else I got. There was something I meant to ask you, and I forgot to write it down. I can't remember what it was.
How many capos I have?
Hey, that's not fair, man. Even that kind of stuff, man. The prices are going up. It's stupid. I remember when a capo used to be like $6 or $7, and that was the cheapest one they had was $18.
I will give everybody a helpful piece of advice. You know, with me, my brother owns a plumbing company. All my friends own plumbing companies. We all kind of migrated out of commercial work into residential work at the same time. But the housing market is going to, or let me say that the new construction market is going to be horrible because building material prices have went up between 20 and 40% in a couple months. I mean, like it's ridiculous. If you have plans to build, solar water heaters or this or that, you should already have the material. You should be going to get any building material. If you need plywood for security issues, for windows or doors or whatever, you need to go get it now and not say, oh, well, let's wait 6 months because in 6 months it'll be twice the price it is now.
Yeah, I was going to get some 2x4s to build a small greenhouse. It's like, no. I went over, I looked online on Home Depot, and just a regular standard, not even treated 2x4 is over $4 a piece now.
Yep. And 2 years ago, they were $1.87.
Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they say it's because of the wildfires in California.
If the wildfires ain't got nothing to do with plumbing prices, I mean, plastic pipes went up exponentially in 2 years. I mean, you used to bid the material, it'd be $1,000. What was $1,000's now $2,500. So,
well, my wife, she's a manager at a big gas station chain, or for a big gas station chain, and the day so and so was inaugurated, kerosene jumped $1 Like inauguration, a half hour later, kerosene went up $1 a gallon. Now gas around here, it jumped up about 30 cents that same day, but now it's kind of going back down. It's back down to like $2.20 here. So
yeah, and kerosene is something people need to watch because that could be a heat source. I know people that, that was their backup heat source for years. Absolutely. I got 2 kerosene heaters out here in the building if the power goes out. I mean, you can heat food up on them and everything. We have a 200-gallon kerosene tank out here behind the building. I would definitely not want to fill that thing up right now.
Oh, God.
But I mean, that's something I see a lot of people overlook. They go buy a whole lot of propane and a whole lot of this, and go and build wood stove. And you don't want to be out here chopping wood and cutting wood and burning calories if you don't have enough food to replace the calories.
Right.
But if when times is good, if you go get you a 200-gallon kerosene tank, you can heat your house, winter or two. So,
not everybody thinks like that. That's why, man, the first couple videos I seen of yours, I was like, this guy is, I mean, he's on top of it because, well, you can tell you said one of your top skill is thinking,
Yeah.
figuring everything. And you can tell that you literally sit and just study things forever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like when Sean M was doing your live, and he's sitting there talking about the making the compost bins or beds, and well, it gets up to 140 degrees. We've made water heaters out of compost piles. It's not hard to do. And, if you're not in a rush to have the compost, you could literally start the compost, get it starting to heat up and have a 100-foot coil of pipe in it. And I mean, you can get 120-degree water out of a compost pile.
That's amazing. You can literally make anything out of shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's bad because like me and my brother have always had like what we consider boneyards where we, bring extra building materials home and, well, we found this. And I mean, one day we literally built a solar water heater out of junk and it got so hot that it melted the plastic PVC pipe that we had to come up with a circulating system because it would heat up too hot and melt the pipe. And people don't think about it when they're just cleaning out buildings, throwing trash away, this, that, and the other, that, if something goes south, you might need something, so, I mean, we've always kept boneyards, extra build materials, stuff like that.
And see, I love doing that. My wife, she's pretty much put an end to that habit. I'll call it a habit because when I have when I have a truck, if I'm going through town and it's trash day and it's sitting out by the road and it's still good and in good shape, it's going in the back of the truck.
Yep.
And I used to do it with lumber and everything. And I brought termites into my garage doing that. So that was a lesson learned. I really don't pick up the lumber too much anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my dad just had all the windows replaced in his house. Had brand new, spent thousands of dollars. Well, they pulled out all the old windows. Hey, just set them behind the building over there because I can use those for cold frames.
Right.
I mean,
it's amazing the things people throw away when there's guys like us. Like, what?
Exactly.
That's really all the questions I had wrote down. Not that we have to go by a schedule or nothing. But so, do you get into the politics?
Yeah, you have to be efficient. I think you have to be in everything. I mean, you have to watch politics. You have to watch what bills are coming through. You have to watch pretty much all aspects, and it gets overwhelming if you haven't figured out what to pay attention to and what to let slide, and you'll literally overload your brain trying to keep up.
Yeah, that's like the last month, of Trump's presidency. It was just like one theory right after the other, just stuff people posting and, just going on, and it's coming from the left, it's coming from the right. And there was about a week, I just quit watching the news, and I was trying to do videos for folks, trying to be helpful. And then, you get all this going on in your head and you can't focus on nothing else. I couldn't go to sleep at night. And I mean, I have bad anxiety issues anyway. And just all that on top of it, I'd lay awake till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I quit watching the news for about a week, just kind of the refresh button. And
well, I mean, some people take it like Jason at Angry Prepper said. Some people just go way out of the way on a limb on certain topics or conspiracy theories or you know, and sometimes you literally have to weed through it. I mean, like right now, my main concerns HR 127 and the other gun laws that's laying on the table. That's what concerns me at this point. I mean, people need to come up with a better plan. I mean, right now, Democrats got everything stacked. Liberals are in control. I mean, you know, they done said that, you know, they'll pull Kamala for the tie buster. So we don't have House, Senate, President,
We have nothing.
nothing. I mean, so at that point, you need to be paying attention to all the stuff they're passing. You know, it's getting ready to get hairy. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, like I told Jason the other night when I was on Grim, you know, he popped in for a minute, and I told him, you know, I was like, I don't know the ins and outs, you know, I don't know who has to vote on what to pass it to who to get final, you know, but I know enough to know what's going on, where we need to be at, where we don't want to be at, you know. I don't. He's a lot more knowledgeable about politics than I am. So
yeah, well, I mean, the simple gist of it, I talked about it in my video, I think 2 days ago, about a guy, Garrett Ziegler, who was an intern at the White House. And he literally just lays it out. This is the problem. 80% of the people, 80% of the White House staff are career politicians. You know, they're compromised by lobbyists, they're this. So for every action Trump wanted to take, they would give him 3 to 5 reasons why it was impossible to do.
right.
And you know they've already moved on, and you know already had jobs lined up, and this, that, and the other. I mean that's what they do for a living. They're politicians, and when you're up against 80% of the people that's supposed to be giving you correct information and this, that, and the other, and they have vested interest, I mean, you can't get anything done. It's going to be very bad. I mean, because Washington now is a cesspool. I mean, it's been a cesspool for years, but at this point, I mean, we're now public enemy number one.
And they're very, I mean, everybody knows how corrupt DC is, and it's almost like they wear it, you know, like
Yeah.
they know everybody knows, and they don't care. You
Right.
know, that was never more obvious in the election. I mean, that was out right in your face, you know, and plain as day. And no, there's no evidence. No evidence.
What bugged me about all that? I posted a video on the Rodney Dale Class. He's a private attorney general, and he's local. Like I said in the video, I
haven't got to watch it all.
Yeah. It kind of breaks down how the judicial system's at a stalemate. I mean, how they get around this. I mean, look what happened at the election. All these Supreme Courts and all these court cases said, we cannot hear your case on procedural grounds. Well, procedural grounds means they did not file the correct paperwork in the administration side of the court to present the case. So, I mean, if a judge comes up and says you're out on procedural grounds, then you're done, because when you go in for an arraignment, you have the option, to present your paperwork, all your statutes, all this, that, and the other. Well, if they say no, we're not allowing this, then you're done. So at that point, we don't have a justice system. We don't have a court system. We don't have any of the rest of the government. I mean, like I said, it's going to get real hairy. I'm definitely concerned.
As we all should be. I think Danny Pitcher just commented. He said, which I'm with him. HR 127 will not go through. There's too much BS in it. I'm I'm not saying don't pay attention because you should, but it definitely won't pass. And I think, like somebody else said, I think it was Jason said that I think they've come out with it for something to dwindle down to. You know what I mean? Because there, and he's Danny's right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like the money for fines and the jail time and all that. That's ridiculous.
They're not going to do it. I mean, I completely agree. I'm in the same boat with y'all. I don't think HR 127 is going to pass, but they're going to compromise. I mean, because that's what Washington is you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Absolutely.
So then in 6 months, a year down the road, when they come up and say, okay, well, we're going to, y'all didn't pass this, but, we do want a magazine, lower capacity magazines, and we want taxes. A lot of municipalities do taxes on certain guns anyway, but we want taxed and registered everything. Even if it's a cheap tax that gun owners are willing to pay, eventually they're going to keep whittling at it and whittling at it.
Yeah.
And once they pass one, then it's easier to convince them to pass the next, and then it's easier to convince them. And I mean, eventually,
well, and if they
we're going to
a step, that's almost a guarantee that a lot more people are going to comply.
right. And
paying this little bit of tax ain't bad, so they'll wait a year, hike it up a little bit. Well, that's not so bad, and it'll just be out of control. That's why they put so much crap into it. Like, well, no, let's get rid of this, but you got to include this. Like I'll drop my point if you add more to yours to better my pockets. I guess I could say.
Look at taxes. First, it was taxes on income. Well, then next thing you know, you're paying taxes on income, house, taxes on bills you're paying, taxes on cars, taxes on everything you own, and taxes started out to pay back war loans. So, once they start getting in and say, hey, we can get away with this, they're just going to keep taking more and more until finally we give them up. Finally people are going to, I mean, if they have $300 gun taxes and somebody breaks a leg and is out of work for half a year, I mean, eventually people's just not going to be able to pay it.
Right. And then
that's how our 2A is going to go by, because it's not going to be we're going to come to the door with blue helmets and UN troops and China's help and take your guns. No, we'll be in a war all over the United States. They're just going to pick it apart piece by piece until finally it's no more.
And the true patriots, they're going to start to rise up. And I'm hoping they do it intelligently, band together and not try to go out and do, vigilante type stuff on their own, because that's not going to do anything but get you thrown in prison or killed.
Plus it hurts the whole movement. I mean, when they go out and start, they'll use it just like the Capitol riots against us. Yep. If people stand up and say, no, this is not happening, this is private property and everything else. If they don't do it the right way, we'll be in a world of mess.
And they're a bunch of outlaws.
Yep. And then they'll use that as an excuse to come after everybody.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
I agree. So what do you think? I can't remember. I think you already put that in the video about the $15 an hour.
Yeah, that. I mean, it don't take a genius to figure out how that's going to work for everybody. I mean, like I said in my video, Amazon, Walmart, probably Target, all of them will come out with robotic distribution places. They'll shut down in-store shopping. You'll be able to pick it up or have it delivered. And then they just got out of paying the $15. So then you still have your huge monopoly corporations. The only thing they're trying to do with that is cancel all the small business. Yeah, my brother flat out told me, he's like, if they hike minimum wage up to $15 an hour, he's like, then our green helpers are going to want 22 because they can go to work at McDonald's for 15.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it takes now in normal climate. I mean, plumbing supervisors make between $25 and $30 an hour. That's what I was on when I went out on medical leave. But if you're paying a helper 22,
Right.
all small businesses will be done. I mean, all the mom and pop shops, the little cafes, hair salons, they'll all be out of business. And that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what they want. The pandemic didn't work as well as they had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to come up with something else.
Yep.
Talking to a girl today, her husband's family lives up by DC, and they said the state minimum wage there is $14 an hour. She said, but a gallon of milk is also pushing $7 for a gallon of milk.
Right.
And so it's just part of the agenda. I mean, there's no good way to look about,
If they would have to break it down in areas, just like I said, DC gallon of milk's $7-8. Well, like Jason said, he paid $10 a gallon in New York. Places that the cost of living is that high, then I could see justifying it. But here in North Carolina, where I can fill the back of a third row Explorer for $300 all the way to the top at Sam's Club, I mean, our milk's like what, $2.30?
Yeah, that's about what it is here.
And I mean, places like, I mean, for what Jason showed for $300,
I know.
I'd have drove to North Carolina and bought groceries. I mean,
I see that too, as when these folks do their prepper hauls, and and they're proud of it, and I get it that they're proud of it, but it's like, man, you could have brought your $300 here and made 2 trips.
Exactly.
Something, man. Go to Aldi's or Save a Lot, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was figuring up like a whole flat of green beans is what, like $8-9 at Aldi's.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it'll definitely put all the mom and pops. I mean, there's a couple places that might be able to handle staying open, like maybe a hardware store that's open maybe 8 hours a day. One person could maybe run that. I mean, they're going to work like a dog to stock and everything. But
well, I mean, people will end up killing themselves because they don't want to lose their business. They won't live the American dream. Well, we can't afford to pay help, so then you have the 2 owners, the husband and wife, and they're working at 100 hours a week, and eventually their health gives out.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. Nobody can work that work that way for that long.
No,
it's impossible. So what else is going on you'd like to talk about? Or we could let people ask questions or whatever you want to do at this point.
Yeah, let's open it up for some questions, see if I can help somebody.
If you guys got any questions, please put them in all caps, and I will throw them up here on the screen for Prepping Plumber to read, and we'll go from there.
While they're doing the questions in the chat, I want to give a shout out to somebody. I think everybody needs to go over and check out Humble Lions. I think it's Humble Lion Preppers channel. This man's voice, and Tommy, you being a musician, you can understand how certain tones soothe you. I can just sit there and cut him on speaker, and my stress level goes down. There's just something about his voice and the way he speaks that just calms me. And he's new to the whole YouTube thing like me. He's got content out there, and stuff, and it's good stuff. So I appreciate if people go over and check him out.
Can you give him his name again so maybe one of my mods can look him up and throw him up there?
I think it's Humble Lion Preppers. I'm about sure. You can go to my subscriptions on my channel.
It's Humble Lion.
Oh, it's just Humble Lion. Sorry, she just told me. But he's got, like I said, there's just something about the way he speaks that just calms my nerves.
Do you ever watch Be Ready Today?
Yes, I do. He is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, because like I said, you get in some channels, and some channels are just so brass and harsh. I mean, I watch a good bit of Barry Independent, but I have to take him in spurts. I have to watch one day and then wait a couple days because he's intense and my stress level's high enough.
Cat Lady said, "What is your favorite thing in your bug out bag?"
Grim's referring to the name of your followers here, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, Grim, you gonna wear a merch shirt? It's got that on it.
Poop group. I'm trying to find the question she just asked you, and I don't see it.
My lady said that.
I'm trying to find the
what
one.
is needed to create a hand crank pump for a well. Hand crank pumps have a very shallow lift capacity. The siphon pumps, the actual up and down hand pumps, actually work like a ram pump, so they can siphon water deeper. But if you have a deep well, 300-400 feet, with a in well pump, you're gonna be in a bad situation. You probably end up having to make a 3-inch tube with 300 foot of rope and pull it up by hand. If you have shallow well, you can get pumps that'll lift that high and this, that, and the
other. Here's one. What's your favorite thing to prep, Mr. Plumber?
Coffee.
Coffee.
I
mean, here's what she asked. Sorry. Took me a second. Cat Lady Prepper 23 meow.
I know people are going to think this is weird. I do have a pack out here. It's been a long time since I've been through it. I know I set it up with ways to cook food, this, that, and the other. But as far as actually maintaining a bug out bag and taking it apart and keeping inventory of it, I probably hadn't even seen the bag in 8 months, maybe a year. I know it's in the back of that building. That being said, well, like one of my favorite, I mean, like we keep a medical bag in the car because my daughter's in softball. I have a clumsy 3-year-old. I do keep track of all the medical supplies and stuff that we need. Well, let me phrase that. I've delegated that responsibility to the old lady. But as far as favorite thing in a bug out bag, I really can't say. I mean, I put it together because it could come in handy if we have to bolt from here to over there. But the problem is over here and over there, I already have everything I have.
Right.
So if I had to do nothing but her grab my daughter, me grab my son, and take out this door with means of self-defense, we would be fine. I mean, we literally would be. Between the supplies that I know other people have, we would be fine.
Independent Marine 3522. Is there a good filter system that can be used to make potable water?
Independent Marine says they're a good filter system that can be used.
He's reading it.
Okay.
So what I done is, I don't know what the guy's channel was. I watched it years and years ago. But you know, people make the 5-gallon Berkeys out of 2 safe buckets and stuff. A Berkey is actually not considered a filter. It's considered a water purification system. It takes out 99% of everything. I mean, like down to, I forgot what micron it is. But I mean, you could take pond water, dump it in a Berkey, wait a few hours, and you have water. And I made a few of them out of buckets. And the one thing, a lot of people say, oh, well, you can go on Amazon, you can order this filter cheaper, you can go get the knockoff Berkey filters. One thing you don't want to skimp on,
right,
is the quality of your water. I mean, what if it takes out everything but some biological something? You know, you don't want to skimp on that. So I always use the black Berkey filters, and I always use usually the fluoride canisters on them, because like even bottled water's got fluoride in it. I don't like to make coffee with it. I mean, I just don't. So I would definitely go with a Berkey, some type of Berkey system. I mean, there's tons of videos on how to make like 3-bucket gravity fed natural with wood ash leaves, this, that, and the other. But I would definitely look into either making a Berkey setup or buying a Berkey setup. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I think if Grim is still in here, if I could get him to, possibly, he has a really good video on how to make he made a Berkey out of the 5-gallon buckets. And it was really good. A lot more cost effective than buying a Berkey.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like the filters with the fluoride and everything's about $100, you know, 110, something like that.
Yeah.
But like you can make them out of stainless stock pots if you like the stainless, nice looking. There's I think Swamp Fox or somebody done a video on that. But I mean, I've made them for different locations. That way, you know, you don't have an issue. And if you're bugging out, if you already have one at your house and you're going to somebody else's house, well, now you're adding more people to what they have the capacity to filter. So you need to throw your bucket Berkey in the back of the car and take it with you. Absolutely. Because if not, now they're shy on water because they added 3 more people in the house. So just something to think about.
See if any more questions over here. I'm not seeing any more questions. Come on, people. We need questions. I hate awkward silence.
I get it a lot. I stir the pot a lot.
They did find Humble Lion. They got his.
Good. Like I say, he's like Be Ready today. I mean, you could literally just listen to him for hours.
That's what I said. I've said on here, like, I would listen to Be Ready, read the phone book. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Hutch says, Plumber, what is your dream project?
My dream project. That would be to go completely and permanently off grid. We actually looked at a place not too far from here, but they already had complete solar setups, greenhouse setups. It was like 10 acres, 2,000 square foot house, and was completely off grid except the North Carolina legality of you have to have a transfer switch and a meter to get an occupancy certificate. So the grid power's run to it, but not active. So that would be my ultimate goal, is to not be dependent on stores or anything.
Nice. There's a fun light question.
And Cat Lady said, do you have a bug out truck?
All right. There's two types of people in this world.
Uh-oh.
There's Carolina fans and people that hate Duke. I mean, you know, that's it. If you're Duke, me and my old lady fight about this all the time. She's a Duke fan.
I said the house divided.
I mean, but I was raised. There's only one way of thinking, and well, I tell you a good analogy. If you watched any old historic basketball and stuff, you remember when Dean Smith would make them do the four corners and run down the time clock with Carolina. That's what they're doing to us with the government. they're just stalling. They're just running the time clock out, you know.
I'm not sure what her question is, though. I'm hoping she'll see this and post it up. Arkansas Living wants to know, how many rubber boots do you prep? It's Arkansas, man.
Well, around here, I mean, you have to have multiple boots. My favorite boots are Rocky hot weather tactical boots. I have cowboy boots. I have all kind of boots. I have one pair of tennis shoes. That's it. I mean, I got 2 or 3 pair of knee high muck boots.
Cat Lady up here somewhere, I can't find out. She asked if you had a bug out truck.
No. And I will explain my thought process on that. I have a 4-wheel drive. We have a 4-wheel drive SUV, you know, seats 7 people. But I seen the video Mike Glover put out about his big old 2500 diesel with the tent and this, that, and the other. Do you really want to stick out like a sore thumb trying to run through SHTF up a interstate with a 4-wheel drive truck and huge things of water and a rooftop tent? I mean, why don't you just say, hey, here I am? I mean, I'd rather look like the normal old soccer mom, you know, oh, well, I'm just, you know, going home from work or whatever. So try not to draw attention.
Hutch said, Plumber, if you could only have one food forever, what would it be?
My old lady's dressing that she makes at Christmas would be my Mr. Hutch Homestead's response if I could only have one food for the rest of forever. My old lady makes the best dressing I've ever tasted. I mean, that's bad because my grandma was a very, very good cook. But yeah, it can't be beat.
Let's see. Hava, if you're still in here, what was your question about the non-working well?
Hutch, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. He ain't the only part of the Blue Wrench Mafia out there.
Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. We're a little over an hour. Are you good, or do you want to keep going? Or
it don't matter to me. I know. I think Native's coming on at 9. I think he has tribal council. So I mean, if there's no any more questions, I mean, we can wrap it up and see what else is going on.
I leave it up to the people. It's whatever they want.
I'm about to have to go take Arkansas, so I mean,
Arkansas, that's funny because Arkansas just said ain't nobody scared of Hutch. Faithful Preppers said use stimulus check to get a Berkey if you don't have one already. I mean,
yeah,
I'll do something useful with it. Yeah, I seen Hava just commented. I guess she did have a question about a non-working well, but I don't know.
I mean, that could be 10 million different things. Depends on what's not working about it. I mean, a well's nothing but a hole in the ground with water in it. I mean,
okay.
Arkansas said you ever drilled a Sandpoint well?
How are your plumbing suppliers doing with supplies? That's iffy. Back at the first part of the pandemic, March, April 2020, stuff was hard to get. I mean, like you'd go try to get a water heater and they wouldn't have what you ordered. Now it's starting to get a little better. I mean, but if you go through Lowe's, half their shelves still stay empty. Who do you call? You're in Miami. You probably need to go to your plumbing supply house and look at whatever plumbing trucks are pulling up in there with the names and stuff on them and pick the most ragged out, beat up one there is and call that feller because his prices are probably cheaper than the person driving the brand new 2021 GMC.
Absolutely. Hutch said he can't find copper fittings, only flex line.
He'll probably have to go to a plumbing supply. I mean, Lowe's quit carrying anything but like push-on fittings or PEX fittings a long time ago. Start making me signs.
All right, I'll give it just a couple more, like 2 more minutes if anybody's got any last-minute questions for him. And again, it's the Prepping Plumber. Go check out and subscribe to his channel. A lot of good videos. Get to meet little man. He's a cute little baby.
I'm surprised he hadn't been in here.
He said, would you recommend getting extra plumbing supplies?
I mean, that was for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it depends on it depends on the condition, and I mean if you're having to call out plumbers and stuff a good bit, I mean you might want to go ahead and bite the bullet and have like your water distribution pipes dealt with. It's hard to say. I mean a lot of it deals with the age of the system, what the system consists of, whether I would spend money on fixing a problem that hadn't happened yet. I mean, SHTF situation, I mean, we're all pretty much screwed anyway. I mean, you're not going to be using plumbing if the water service is shut off or, the power's out to the well or whatever. You're going to be using a bucket pouring it in the back of the toilet. So,
yeah,
I wouldn't really, I'd probably prep other stuff before I started fixing plumbing stuff.
I'd take that money and maybe build a rainwater, catch.
Everybody should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, it's like, me and all my friends, we don't drain our swimming pools or anything, even if it's above ground or in ground or whatever. I mean, because between these three, I mean, we got 36,000 gallons of pool water. And I know in the wintertime, I mean, you're not going to go out there and drink it,
Right.
but you got to figure you still got to wash clothes, you still got to wash dishes, you still got to flush toilets. and so on and so forth. So, I mean, if you don't have a rainwater collection system where, you know, you at least got a 50-gallon drum under each downspout, you might want to think about it.
Right.
Do I use shark bites? Not if I can keep from it. If you've seen all the $1 million houses, one shark bite fitting is ruined. You're better off if you're going to use shark bite fittings. I mean, you're better off just go buy the tools and fix it, especially like if it's PEX or something like that, that the tools are cheap. Shark bite fittings, if they're not on 100% correct, if they blow off, you just ruined the house. So I'm not a fan of shark bites at all. I guess he's gonna call Roto-Rooter because my phone ain't on 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's after hours.
Well, I tell them they need plumbing problems fixed or whatever. I can build, design, install anything you can write on the back of one of them big old Publishers Clearinghouse checks. If you got the money, honey, I got the time.
International plumber. All right, man. I guess we'll go ahead and jump off here and give everybody a break before Native and Devout comes on, because they don't stop. You don't know if you're going to watch an hour or 3.
No. And like I mentioned in my video, I was up at 3:30 this morning and been up ever since. So, yeah.
Early night. It's not.
Yeah, probably the same here. I try to go early. I try all the time. It just never works because I'll go back there and lay wide awake for 2 or 3 hours. I could be up doing something else.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me on here. I really do.
Appreciate you coming, man, and answering the questions. And like I said, y'all go there and subscribe to his channel. Really good channel, a lot of good content. He don't sugarcoat anything. He tells you what you need to be doing. I promise. But I will.
I'm working on one.
Oh, I thought she was talking. Okay. I will probably do my video for tomorrow when we get off of here. So I will see all of you guys tomorrow. God bless each and every one of y'all. I love y'all. Papa Prepper out.